business owner, educator, and lifelong observer of politics and economics, making sense of complex issues.
I want to tell you about one of the quietest, sneakiest ways companies have ever cut your pay without telling you they cut your pay. Imagine this. You've worked at the same job for years, same desk, same hours, same boss. You're there 9 to 5, 5 days a week. You got your paid lunch break, you got your overtime, you got your benefits, you got retirement, overtime rates, and then one day, without you changing anything, you're suddenly not a full-time worker anymore. You didn't quit, you didn't take fewer hours, but somehow you've lost your benefits, and your 40-hour week is now 37 and a half. That wasn't an accident, that was a deliberate strategy, and it happened to millions of people in the 80s and 90s. Back then, the idea of a full-time job was simple. If you were there 5 days a week, you were full-time, you got the whole package. Paid sick leave, retirement contributions, overtime at time and a half, all that was baked in. And then the rules changed. In Australia, in the UK, and in the US, in different ways, governments deregulated the labour market. They called it flexibility. What it meant in practice was that employers could rewrite the definition of full-time and dodge a lot of the costs that used to be just part of employing people. One of the favorite tricks was called terminate and re-engage. The company would literally sack the entire workforce on paper and then rehire them, everyone, the next day on new contracts. Same hours, same building, same work, but different legal conditions. And in those new contracts, lower penalty rates, no paid lunch breaks, or a reclassification from full-time to part-time. In the UK, Thatcher's anti-union reforms made this easy. In Australia, the 90s enterprise bargaining system let individual workplaces rewrite conditions. In the US, you already had at-will employment, so a lot of companies just cut people's hours or moved them to temp agencies. Here's how the lunch break loophole worked. Before, a 9 to 5 job with a paid lunch break was counted as 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, full-time, no question. But once companies made that lunch unpaid, your paid hours dropped to 37 and a half. In Australia, that often meant you no longer hit the full-time hours threshold in your award, which could cut your superannuation contributions, remove leave loading, and even reduce sick pay. In the US, the equivalent was pushing people just below the 40-hour mark, 39 hours a week, so they didn't legally have to offer health insurance or pay overtime. Walmart and a lot of big box chains were famous for it. It was legal, it was clever, and it was devastating because it normalized the idea that you could be working almost full time but still get none of the benefits. This was part of a bigger global shift. In the 80s and 90s, government started selling the idea that flexibility would make businesses more competitive. What it really meant was shifting risk from companies to workers. Companies used to absorb the cost of training, sick days, and retirement. After deregulation, those costs were pushed onto individuals. Instead of having a pipeline of apprentices that they trained for years, companies started looking for job-ready workers, people who already had the skills, so they didn't have to invest in them. And that change in mindset, from people are an asset to people are a cost, is the foundation of the work environment we have today, the illusion of progress. And here's where people nostalgic for that get it wrong. Yes, in some industries, especially for professionals, conditions are better. You can work from home, offices are nicer, ergonomic chairs, better coffee. But for millions of people, retail workers, hospitality staff, warehouse workers, tradespeople, conditions have gone backwards. The average middle-class household might have more gadgets than ever, but the floor under the working class is thinner than it used to be. A ping pong table in the break room doesn't replace a secure pension. Free snacks don't make up for not being able to take a paid sick day. This is what I mean when I talk about the erosion of work. It's not about perks, it's about whether a job can still give you stability. And the truth is, for a huge slice of the workforce, that stability was quietly dismantled. Sometimes just one lunch break at a time, and it's continuing more and more.
If you're still here, honestly, you have no idea how much it helps if you subscribe. I'll keep these coming.